Welcome back to another edition of the White Sox here on OOTP 25. And as you can see, now here's a guy, Samuel Zavala, unfortunately at 4 to 5 months with shoulder inflammation. Played 14 games through the season. We're 7-7, sitting 500 on the year. Decent start to the year. Zavala also had a decent start to the year, and unfortunately is now going to miss a really significant portion of time, which is just very unfortunate because we were expecting or hoping for big things from Zavala here. But since he's out for so long and he's now going to be on the 60-day IL, which opens up a spot on our 40-man, it is now Walker Jenkins' time. He is going to come up, play in the big leagues here. Hasn't gotten off to a roaring start in AAA, but whatever. His ratings are good enough. He expects to be playing in major leagues, and it's just an immediate boom. We need a right fielder. He's going to come in and play right field for us. So Walker Jenkins, welcome to the Chicago White Sox. All right, folks, so we're a little bit farther into the season now. Not far into the season, but like a little bit, couple days later. It's April 26th. We're 9-14. Things are not looking good right now. And Christian Pache, who has been looking terrible this season, just strained his PCL. So he's going to be out for a few weeks here. And that's going to force us to find a different center fielder for now. And then we're also just going to have to reevaluate some things because we're at that point in the season where, I mean, it's nut up or shut up time at this point. I mean, we have a bunch of guys underachieving. Chappelle's barely, I mean, he's played a little bit, but like, we're not going to get rid of a bench outfielder who I think is a good player just because he's gotten off to a poor start in 35 plate appearances. Like, Perosa is disappointing as well, but like, I don't know, man. I like this guy. I think he's good. I think his ratings are good. I just find it hard to believe this guy is never going to be able to do anything for us. So we're going to keep rolling with him for a bit. Jeremiah Jackson's gotten off to a bad start on the bench here. Reese McGuire is our backup catcher. He's doing terribly, striking out 47% of the time, 45% of the time for Jackson, 44% of the time for Perosa, 46% of the time for Chappelle. But once again, small sample sizes for those guys. But, you know, that's just astonishing strikeout rates that you're seeing there. But some of our guys who are playing every day, like Caro's been a league average hitter. Ramos has been around a league average hitter. Brooks Lee has kind of just not been Marlins Brooks Lee. He's just kind of like a defender in this universe, it looks like, even though his ratings are pretty decent, even if they are mostly avoid K. Hopefully he can figure it out. Michael Massey, though. Early season Michael Massey is, I mean, he's, I don't know, left-handed. He's Yordan Alvarez, folks. I mean, he is just crazy. 186 WRC plus to start the season with 3 home runs and 7 doubles with a 4-digit OPS here. Obviously running an extremely hot BABIP, but, you know, early season Michael Massey, folks. Colson Montgomery's been good to start the year. Shang-Chi Sheng has been really good as well with a 140 WRC plus. Brooks Baldwin's continued to be good. And then Walker Jenkins has 8 starts and has an 87 WRC plus, you know. He's going to figure it out. He'll be fine. I believe in Walker Jenkins. But, like, you know, if we can have some of these guys struggling, if they continue to struggle after another month or so, maybe even a couple weeks, we might look down to the minor leagues here. And then we also do have to look down to the minor leagues for just, you know, an outfielder in general to start in center field. And then on the pitching side of things, this is where things have really not gone to plan this season. You can see a lot of negatives here in the WAR column. Now, obviously not huge numbers, but just a lot of guys not pitching as well as we hoped they were going to. We currently have Walker Buehler on the IL with a shoulder tendonitis that he was out for it was 2 weeks or something, so I just threw him on the IL. And he's got 9 days left on that IL time. He'll be back at the end of it. I didn't want him pitching through shoulder tendonitis, obviously. So we called up Landon Knack to take his spot on the roster. He's gotten 1 start. He's been whatever. But like Paddock has been getting absolutely destroyed out there through 5 starts. And he's a guy who just, you know, classic me signing in the offseason. He's already down to a 45. When we signed him, he was a 60, I believe. Yes, he was a 60 potential. Or no, this is stamina. What am I saying? Here we go. Overall potential, yeah. He was a 60 as I'm accidentally backing out for the 80th time now. He was a 60 overall when we signed him, and then he comes into camp or I guess he was a 55. He was a 55 when he comes into free agency, and then he comes into spring training, drops to a 50. His stamina drops, his control drops. Also, or I guess one of the things from his control, or I guess his movement, it doesn't say, but this home run's allowed. That was not 45 when we signed him. That goes down to 45. Now he has bad stuff, bad home runs allowed, not as good control, and he's getting destroyed out there through 5 starts. And of course, he was the guy we signed to an actual long-term thing. Now, it is only one more season guaranteed, but still, we would like to see more from Chris Paddack. And through 5 starts, it's looking like it's going to be a brutal, brutal contract. And then Tyler Mahle, he's been whatever. Who else do we have? Marcus Stroman's been horrible. 3 starts for him. He's just been truly, truly terrible. You can see that we actually have Santucci in the bullpen right now. He got 2 starts. If we look at his splits between those starts and a reliever, he's been like around league average as a reliever. And I guess he was actually pretty decent in his FIP-wise for his starts, but then we sent him down to the bullpen where he's giving up way too many home runs, which is a problem we have a lot here. 1.8, 2.8, 2.1, 2.1, 2.2, 1.8. Just completely unacceptable for all those guys. Truly terrible numbers. But anyways, back to Santucci. He's in the bullpen because we ended up claiming Trevor Rogers, who is a 50. He was on the waivers. The Texas Rangers, not the Miami Marlins, waived him after putting up a really good season in 2025 with Texas and a good season in 2024 as well with the Miami Marlins. So back-to-back good seasons, and then they were just like, let's waive this guy. And I was like, $9 million for this season and then $10.2 for 2 more years, both is 29 to 30 years. That's totally affordable, especially for a team like us that has a shit ton of money that's just not being spent because we're not paying for really anybody. So I was like, why not claim this guy? And so far, it has not gone too well. He has 3 starts for us, and he has not been great. But hopefully he can turn things around and get back to where he was these past 2 seasons and actually be a good starter for us. Walls then in the bullpen, just a lot of numbers you're not loving to see here. Tanner Banks has been good. Eater's been good. Ferguson's been good with the ERA, not great with the FIP. Foley's been good. I guess there's only been 2 guys in the 3 guys in the bullpen. And then 2 guys in the bullpen have been bad. Leiter and then Santucci has been horrible with the home runs allowed. Leiter, 9 games, 8.2 innings. He might be gone. He might be gone. You can notice that Brazoban's not on the team. He was sent down because he was the one struggling when we claimed Rogers. You can see very small sample size, but was giving up a shit ton of home runs. And I was just like, get out of here. So he's done in AAA doing his thing, but he might be back up at some point because Leiter is just not getting the job done. And that's why you have relievers that just have a ton of options. Leiter is like our only guy who doesn't. So you get rid of a guy like that, and you could just go, hey, you're struggling, you're down to AAA, you're doing well, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, you're up, down, you're down. It's the best way to run a bullpen, at least in my opinion. And we've actually gone with Dominic Fletcher as the center fielder to call up here. I was thinking it was either between him and Hudson Head because those are the only outfielders we have on the 40-man roster right now. And both of them obviously can play center field. Dominic Fletcher here has played center field for us, had a horrible season last year. Went down to AAA, was not good down there. But so far in AAA this year, small sample size obviously, but he's doing very well. And also, this was just normal before I called him up, and now it's back to ground ball hitter. That was one of the reasons why I decided to call him up over Head, was because this was normal when he was in AAA, but now it's all of a sudden back to ground ball. No clue how that happens, but whatever. He's up in the big leagues here. If we need to send him down and call up Hudson Head at some point, we can do that. All right, we're back on our bullshit here, folks. We're back on the bullshit. We're doing the followers. Paddock's been sucking. He's a follower. Stroman's been horrible. He's a follower. Our man Jason Foley's back to doing his thing as our opener. He'll be pitching mostly in early innings in Paddock and Stroman starts. And you can see here the first test of it. Foley opens up. He gives up a run through 2, but it's fine. And then Stroman comes in and gives us 5 2/3 scoreless, even with 5 walks. I mean, we're the follower opener team, man. That's just what we do. Reese McGuire, who was not promised a starting role when I signed into a contract. He signed a 1-year deal, $2.6 million, and just because, I don't know, he started and was a horrible hitter the past 2 seasons, he's like, he's stomping his feet, he's throwing a tan, and I'm going to start me, I want to start. I mean, we've got a pitching problem at this point. Walker Buehler is getting lit the hell up too. He's a guy that we have signed for at least 1 more season. at $10.5 million. And he's just been, I mean, he was good when he came back from injury last year, but he got hurt again to start this season with that shoulder tendonitis. He's now down to fragile. His first start back, how does that go? Oh, he goes 3 2/3 and gives up 7 runs. I mean, what the fuck is going on? I mean, just look at this. Look at the difference between our bullpen and our starters. Third in bullpen, 12th starters ERA. We're pitching well. We're giving up way too many home runs, but that's probably because our staff is pitching, or our rotation rather, is pitching so poorly. They're just giving so many home runs. But like our defense is good. We just can't start. We've got no good starting pitchers. I'm just starting to feel like at this point we might have to just kind of cut bait on something like Paddock. If he can't figure it out, I mean, he's been he's at 1 appearance as a follower, but like Stroman, I think is up to 2 now as a follower, and 1 was good and 1 was bad, I believe. Let's look at his games. He gave up 2 runs. Sure, whatever. It was fine. So like Stroman's been adjusting to it better. Rogers, I guess, is starting to pitch a little bit better. Mailey's been good, but Walker Buehler's been dreadful through 5 starts. Or I guess ERA's been mainly what's killing him. But like Paddock's been killing us. I don't know. We're gonna have to try something at some point because these guys are giving up too many home runs. And Ferguson's another one we might have to look at here. He's got a good ERA, but he's got a 29.2 K per 9, or 29.2 K minus walk rather, a 37.5% K rate, but he has a 2.5 home runs per 9. What is the deal? You're a 60 home runs allowed extreme ground baller. Stop giving up home runs. And for those curious about the park factors here at Guaranteed Rate Field, now called Rate Field in real life because, I don't know, bullshit sponsoring. Like, we have a little bit of a juiced home runs overall, but it's not a ton. You know, it's not like we've got Coors Field home run rates. You know, Coors Field we had a 1040, they've got a 1078, but then they also have the 2 for triples and then a 1.2 for doubles. You know, they're super juiced. When it comes to our park, we're actually quite a hitter's friendly park. The average, the doubles, I mean, you hit a triple here, I mean, you're basically God, which is funny about Brooks Baldwin's season last year, because if we go to his default stats, he had 9 triples, which led the American League at a park which doesn't give up triples. I mean, how crazy is that? This triples number results in the league-leading triples guy in the American League. That's crazy. All right, folks, we've reached the point. We're just giving up on him. Chris Paddock here. We're biting the bullet and we're saying, hey, man, this isn't going to work. He's just fallen off too bad to do anything. I mean, he's been like around, what am I looking at batting stats for? He's been like around league average-ish. I guess he's been at exactly league average of the ERA as a reliever, but he's still giving up way too many home runs, and he's just not a playable guy, and he's somebody that we just can't afford to be giving playing time to. So, you know, highly doubt there's going to be anything for him out there in the market. There is not, as I expected. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to waive and DFA him. If he gets through waivers, we're just going to go and straight up cut him. We're going to go release player, and we're going to pay out that $34 million over the next 4 years, because that's going to be the combined of these two prices, because these ones can't... I guess it's the buyouts. So, you know, it is what it is. We've got the money to eat it, so we're going to do that because Paddock's been unplayable. I also wanted to open up, because right now we only have like one, because I don't like Eater as an opener, but Foley's just money as an opener. He's our opener guy. He's the Sergio Romo of this opener follower train that we've got going here. And when you only have one opener, it's tough to have 3 followers because they're just constantly pitching with yellow stamina. But he's been making it work a little bit because we had Paddock, Rogers, and Stroman. But Rogers has only had one appearance as a reliever, and it went very, very well. About as well as it could possibly go. So Rogers, we're going to keep rocking him as a follower. Stroman, overall, huge difference between as a regular starter and as a follower. So we're going to keep rocking him in that spot too. And now Foley is going to be the opener still. And then also Tanner Banks, unfortunately, just got hurt with a rotator cuff strain. Walker Buehler's another guy we're going to have to figure out at some point because I guess he's been fine. It's been the ERA that's kind of been screwing him. But he's out with 2 weeks. For 2 weeks with a dead arm as his injuries just continue to pile up here. Shoulder tendonitis and dead arm for the second time in his duration with us. This one was a multi-week dead arm. So not great there. But Tanner Banks, rotator cuff strain on the IL. Very unfortunate there. So now we have a starter spot open and a reliever spot open. We also haven't we haven't gotten rid of Leiter or Ferguson because Ferguson and Leiter have actually both been turning it around. Leiter, you can see, has dropped his home runs per 9 below 1. He's actually been one of our better relievers here. He got off to a horrible start in April, and he's been money in the month of May. So my arch nemesis continues to pitch well for us. And then Caleb Ferguson has dropped his home runs down to 1.7, which wasn't like 2.8 or some shit like that. So, I mean, 2.2 in April, it's not in a 1.2 in May. He's been pitching well in May. He pitched well for us last year, so we're going to keep rocking with him. We've got him on another possible option for next year as well. So, might as well keep rocking with him. But like I said, 2 spots open here in the big league staff. And then a quick update with the bats here. We've actually demoted Brooks Lee to the bench because he's been so terrible, and he only expects... Why do I keep backing out of that? He only expects to be a bench player. So I was like, sure, man, go be our bench player. You'll play some really good backup infield for us. Maybe someday you'll figure out the bat, but for now he's going to be a bench player for us. And we called up Noah Miller, who has not played here the big leagues yet, but he is going to be our shortstop because unfortunately neither Brooks Lee in 10 games or Shang-Chi Sheng were giving us good shortstop defense. Now, Sheng's not even giving us good second base defense, which is something that just boggles my mind. It makes no sense. So, no idea what's going on there. But Lee's on the bench now, Sheng's at second base, and Noah Miller is now our shortstop. We're also going to have to figure out the outfield at some point because a lot of our bats are performing, like Ramos is hitting, Sheng is hitting, Caro's hitting, Massey's been phenomenal again, Montgomery's really having a huge season for us. That's been great. We moved him up to the leadoff spot because he's had the highest OBP on the team with a 432. Peroza has not been good. And then Brooks Baldwin's been like around league average for us. But besides Baldwin in the outfield, Chappelle's been horrible off the bench. Pache has been dreadful. He's having like a Dominic Fletcher type season. He's just an even better defender than Dominic Fletcher in center field. So he's putting up an insane ZR in center field already, despite being a just terrible, terrible bat for us, which... You look at these ratings, you're like, he's got a league average BABIP, gap, and I. That's really all I want from him, and he can't even like figure out how to be good with that. So it's weird. And then even with his gap against lefties, all that goes up by 5, and 10 for gap, and then 5 for BABIP and I it goes up by. So you'd think he'd be able to at least be a decent hitter, but he just can't figure, especially as a line drive hitter too, he just can't figure it out for us. He has no options, so we're probably going to roll with him for a bit longer. But, like, once we get around to, like, the All-Star break-ish, somewhere around there, we might be looking at playing either Dominic Fletcher or Hudson Head every day in center field. We've got a couple interesting player development updates here, mainly these few pitchers plus this hitter. It's Grant Taylor, who is a 24-year-old we have in Double-A with the Birmingham Barons. Not having a good season, per se, but his ratings are looking like he could be a potential player for us here. High leader, work ethic guy, definitely intriguing. Going to be keeping an eye on him. Then we also have Tanner McDougal, who we picked up from the... Didn't we trade for this guy? No, apparently we drafted him in real life. Okay, did not realize. Could have sworn I traded for somebody. But anyways, Tanner McDougal here, 5th round pick, 2021. Out of a Las Vegas high school that's not Bishop Gorman. And apparently he's a top 100 pitching prospect. And then he was a guy who maybe I'm thinking of a different guy. It's Hampton I'm thinking of. Hampton's the extreme fly ball guy we traded for the Yankees, who extreme fly ball is going to limit him but we're hoping that, maybe he could be somebody for us. And then McDougal is a 23-year-old. This guy's very intriguing. Neutral ground ball, fly ball, really good personality stuff here. Not having the greatest season in Double A, but once again, it's the FIP is good. ERA is not. He expects to play in the major leagues. He might be a guy we look to call up here at some point fairly soon to our big league team if we have spots open up or we need to call somebody up. Him and Grant Taylor are guys that we are going to be looking at here for this foreseeable future. And then as far as the other guys we were talking about, Brody Brecht, he was our second-round pick out of Iowa in 2024. Was doing well in A ball, and I was like, wonder what he would be looking like in the Southern League. Looking pretty decent. So I was, let's call this guy up to the Southern League. Hasn't pitched yet there, but he's making his way up the system here for us as his current stuff improves, his overall rating goes up, and we also have Jacob DeBias, who have improved his potential gap and his overall and potential rating. He is a very intriguing first base power type guy for us. Lefty-righty, 8th round pick out of Arizona State for us in 2024. Was having a really good season in high A last year. Started in high A this year because he wasn't really that developed, but having a good year with 15 home runs already. So I was like, fuck it, let's call him up to Double A. He's in Birmingham. He's got high work ethic, intelligence. We are excited to see if this guy can continue to develop and possibly be a major league bat for us here within the next season or two. Jesus Christ, man. Walker Buehler suffering his second dead arm since coming over here this season. He's had shoulder tendonitis, now dead arm that with a setback. Things are not looking good for Walker Buehler. We've won our Super Bowl, boys. We went into Wrigley Field in a 2-game set midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday, and kicked the shit out of them both games. 9-2. Victory for Nick Nastrini, who then immediately got sent down because he was up in our rotation and was doing absolutely fuck all, aside from getting that win, which was more so our offense doing the job rather than him actually pitching well. And then the next game was a victory 10-4 over the Cubs. Tyler Mahle goes 6 1/3, gives up 3, but gets the dub as he has been one of our better players. Tanner Banks is also back from injury. The offense on this day, Michael Massey had 2 hits, Ramos doubled, Noah Miller with a triple, Colson Montgomery with a home run, and in the first game it was Jeremiah Jackson who's back up playing against lefties for us, putting together a double. Same with Mateo Heel, who was a guy we called up. We picked him up from the Mets at last year's deadline, and overall has not been good at all. But on paper, you look at his ratings and you're like, pretty decent. So far, not looking great, though. So he might have to get sent down to AAA. He hit a double this game. Montgomery had a home run that day. He had back-to-back days with home runs, 12 and then 13 on the season. And then on Tuesday, Brian Ramos also homered. So all-around good offense days for our team, but still not doing so hot. 13 games in the first place, dead last in the Central. Not going well here in 2026, unfortunately. I thought we were building upon something last year, but turns out not so much. Alrighty, it is July 11th, which means that it is time for the first-year player draft here in 2026. But before we do that, now here's a guy. Brian Ramos has gotten off to a fantastic first half this season. 2.3 WAR, that's 0.1 less than he had all of last season. He's on pace to hit more home runs than he did last year. He's got 22 already. He's walking about the same amount, but he's also cut his strikeout rate about 2%. He's slugging more. BABIP has actually gone down. Brian Ramos, damn good player here for us. Somebody who we probably want to possibly look into extending, even if he is a first baseman. We'll do that at some point, but he's been really good. Caro is another player who's been really good for us. His framing is up to 55. It's a positive number. We'll take that. We will absolutely take that for a guy who's going to be a good hitter and at least an average framer. Absolutely, we're going to take that. And then let's take a look at our team stats, or overall what we're doing here. We are dead last in the Central Division, sitting at 39 and 49 on the year. Not great. Totally out of it in the wild card. Things are just not going well. Didn't start off well in April. Didn't go well in May. Didn't go well in June. So far in July, we are above 500, but not by much. And it's not like we're playing good ball anyways. There are a lot of single-digit numbers you see on these categories. I'll start things off with the hitting. We are getting on base a decent amount, the 4th best in the American League. 5th best WAR, 5th best WOBA. We're scoring the 5th most runs in the American League while giving up the 9th most. And the bullpen's kind of been slipping a bit. Our bullpen's no longer as good as it was last year and then beginning of this season, and then the starters just continue to be bad. We are giving up a very small amount of hits. Opponent's average is pretty solid. The BABIP is solid. Playing good defense, top 5 defense in the American League. But giving up too many home runs and too many walks, and we're not striking anybody out. We have to figure out what this lane for us is going to be. Are we going to give up a ton of home runs? Like you have to have at least like 2 of these. Are you going to give up a bunch of walks, but you're not going to give up home runs and you're going to strike out guys? Or are you going to... I mean, I think it's more sort of 2 out of 3, but it's like you have to have this one. Are you gonna not give up home runs, but not walk people, but then not get strikeouts, or are you going to strike a bunch of people out, walk a ton of people, and then not give up home runs? Right now, we're not doing anything well in these 3 categories, and we need to figure out. We need to progress our staff to the point where we are doing well in these 3 categories. And that's really what's holding back our pitching, at least I feel like. Especially the home runs allowed. This is something that's just completely unacceptable. And then when it comes to the hitting side of things, like I said, we're getting on base a decent amount. We're scoring a decent amount of runs. We're getting hits. We're not hitting home runs. We're not hitting extra base hits. So it seems like we're doing it like small ball way, like we're stealing bags. We're getting on base. We're bunting guys over, I guess. But, the offense isn't the problem. It's the pitching, which is kind of... I thought it would be the opposite heading into this season. I thought maybe our staff was going to be at least decent this year, and then they just really haven't been. But let's take a look at this good hitting side of things, sorting by win. We have 3 2-win players on the team right now. Brian Ramos with a 135 WRC+, plus, like I said, 22 home runs, on pace to top his season high, or his career high of 26, which he got last season. In his rookie year, Colson Montgomery's got a 2-win, 125 WRC+, plus, 9 doubles, 17 home runs for him. Very good bounce back year for him, where he had a really good 2024 for us. Was not good for us last year, and then this year, huge bounce back. Love to see it. Edgar Caro's been fantastic, 2-win player, 20 doubles, triple-digit WRC+. plus. He's back in the leadoff spot for us. Michael Massey, he's actually playing second base for us right now. He's a 1-win player, 126 WRC+, plus, 22 doubles. Doesn't quite have the home run numbers and the ribby numbers that he had last year, but he's walking a bit more. He's striking out less. And his average is up. His OBP is way up. Slugging about the same. It's just the home runs just aren't there for whatever reason. And then also is giving us not a great second base, but it's whatever. He's playing second base for us against right-handed pitching. We would like to see the home runs there, but unfortunately they're just not there so far. Walker Jenkins has been starting to put things together here. His WRC plus is up to 111. He's got 12 doubles and 9 home runs here in his rookie campaign, while also playing a solid right field with a 3.6 ZR out there in 60 games. Noah Miller, he's come up from AAA and has done nothing offensively with a 71 WRC plus, but has been incredible at the shortstop position. We have been lacking this, and he has come in and just been a dynamo at the shortstop position. Noah Miller, hell yes. Do that. Keep doing it. We'll take the bad glove if he's going to keep playing shortstop like that. Hudson Head has actually been a round league average hitter for us as our center fielder, as Christian Passe has recently been waived and DFA'd. He cleared waivers, and then he did accept his assignment to AAA. So Pache's in AAA for us right now, and Hudson Head is our center fielder, at least for now. He's a 50 potential. We're kind of hoping that this bat can maybe be something. Maybe the BABIP gets up a bit. He has the decent power and gap power, good speed profile with some really good defense, obviously. He's got a solid ZR in center field. Hopefully he can continue being a good player for us. And then Brooks Lee on the bench, not really doing anything. He's a bench player right now, unfortunately, but that's where he is. Brooks Baldwin's also been struggling mightily this season. He has just provided no value when it comes to wins. He has a 0.0. He has not hurt or helped the team at all in that category. Sub 100, below league average WRC plus. He does have some decent counting stats when it comes to doubles, home runs, and ribbies, but just not as good as he was last year. His walk rate has gone down. His strikeout rate's gone up. His average went down. His OBP went down significantly. His slugging went down. His OPS obviously is down. Just not doing well. And then he's continuing to not be a good defender in left field for whatever reason, even with some decent ratings. 60 here, some decent range here. Just doesn't play well. And then he's also not even having a good arm this season. So Brooks Baldwin, not having a great season. And then Jose Peroza is back up in the big leagues. He's actually DHing for us against righties and against lefties. And I think he's been a bit better as of recently. Yeah, I guess July has been a small sample size, but so has June. In June, he was really good when he came back up. And then July has gotten off to a horrible start in July so far. But, you know, he's been the DH spot when Massey wasn't there has been one of our not great spots. But we're you know, it's a fluid situation here. We're monitoring things as it goes. Chappelli has been not great as a bench player. He's whatever. McGuire's been horrible, but he's like a captain defensive type. And then Jeremiah Jackson also back up. If we look at his splits here in the major leagues, he's been much better since coming back up in June. 91, much improved from the negative 29, and then here in July, obviously small sample size on both of these, but you know, he's been much better. He's going to continue to be on our big league team here the rest of the season, at least hopefully. Especially since his bat is so good against lefties with this 60 pop. And he gives you some decent positional versatility as well off the bench. While on the pitching side of things, if we sort by innings pitched, Tyler Mahle has been by far our best pitcher this season. 31-year-old. We have him on another year, $11 million next season, and then once again the two-team options like we gave Paddock, which did not work out. And I believe that Walker Buehler is on a similar sort of thing. Or he has one more guaranteed year and then one-team option. But yeah, Mahle's actually been really, really good. Him and Marcus Stroman have really been the only starters and quote-unquote starter for Stroman that have actually been good for us. Stroman obviously did not do well as a regular starter, but he's been really good as a follower paired up with Jason Foley, so we'd love to see that. Trevor Rogers really hasn't done anything. We claimed him off waivers because I was like, hey, we're not paying anybody. We could use starters. He's not getting paid a ton of money. Let's see if we can get Trevor Rogers here to be good for us, because he was good for Miami and for Texas the past 2 seasons, and he just totally forgot how to pitch. So Trevor Rogers just not looking good. You look at his splits between the rotation and reliever, neither has been good. He's actually been worse when it comes to home runs as a reliever, so we might throw him back as just a regular starter, but I mean, it's just not looking good overall. And now we've got another guy who's getting paid $10 million to be a bad pitcher for us. Jason Foley, he's pitched a ton of innings as an opener. He has 26 starts. That's already more than he had last year. And he's been fine. He's the opener guy for us. We'll take it. Jake Eater has been solid in the bullpen. Tanner Banks has been solid but not great, giving up too many home runs. Walker Buehler, really good FIP for him, but a horrible ERA. So not really sure what's going on there because we have a good defense. He's just kind of getting gypped with the ERA. And he's not giving a ton of home runs. He's not walking a ton of guys, so it really doesn't make any sense to me why his BABIP isn't super high. Doesn't really make too much sense to me why he has a horrible ERA, but he does. Andrew Kittredge, opposite problem for him. Or no, the same problem for him. Really good FIP. Not as bad of an ERA, but like around league average ERA, but then a really, really, really good FIP. Jonathan Cannon has come up because he was good for us last season, at least good-ish for us last season in the rotation. This is the type of guy who, like, the national media is like, oh, Jonathan Cannon, really good for the... Oh, no, I'm looking at his AAA numbers. I'm an idiot. I thought it was a 155 year. I thought these were his numbers in the big leagues, and I was like, you know what I was saying? You know, Ken Rosenthal's doing a segment about how the White Sox have an ace on their team because he's got a 3.3 ERA, even though his underlying numbers are bad. I don't know why I'm doing like movie trailer guy voice, but yeah, Jonathan Cannon was okay for us last year. This year, not so much. Probably going to get sent down soon. Jared Kelly has come up and been really good as a stopper role for us. Mark Leiter has been about average for us, but he did get off to that horrible start and then was really good in May, solid in June, and then has gotten off to a rough July here, giving up too many home runs through 4 appearances in the month. And then we also claimed Alex Lang, the LSU reliever from the Detroit Tigers. We now have him and Jason Foley, both from the Detroit Tigers. I don't know why Detroit waived him, but they did. So I was like, hell yeah. So Alex Lang on our team now, rocking his turtleneck and short sleeves like he does in our bullpen, pitching high leverage situations for us. And then Caleb Ferguson had that shaky start to the season, but has actually been a really good reliever for us as a lefty towards the back end. As you can see, we're rocking double stoppers and then 4 setups with secondary roles, and then Foley and Eater as the opener long man here at the back end, or the front end, I should say, because the back end would be the best, your best guys. We actually recently sent down Jordan Liager because he was just not performing. The ERA and the FIP were not up to snuff, so we sent him down to AAA. Maybe he'll be back up at some point. I'm sure he will, but for now he's in AAA for us with Charlotte. Victor Vodnik was up for the big leagues for a bit, and he was just not good at all in five innings, was giving up too many home runs, too many walks, was not effective, so we sent him back down to AAA. Huascar Brazaban, after his really good season for us last year, was just dreadful in 2 stints of 3.9 home runs per 9. So we actually waived and DFA'd him. He's no longer on the 40-man roster, but he is still in AAA for us. Jonathan Santucci might have to come back up to the big leagues here. He might be the guy we send down Jonathan Cannon for, because he's been really good in AAA in the bullpen. But when he was in the big leagues, it was just not going well for him. And I guess he was okay, but he was giving up too many home runs. So we're going to try to hope that when he comes back up, he's going to be good for us, because we want him to be good. So probably going to be Cannon for Santucci here down the stretch. I mentioned Nick Nastrini was up for a bit. He was not good for us through 4 starts. He was actually really bad. Landon Knack pitched 2 starts. He was not great, gave up too many home runs. He's been good in AAA, though, so he might come up at some point. Kai Bush has been giving up a ton of home runs in AAA, has not come up yet this season, but maybe will at some point. We also sent down Xiangxie Sheng because his WRC Plus was just tanking. He got off to a really, really good start to the season in April, and then was just consistently worse and worse, so I was just like, fuck it, send him down, and that's when we started messing around with some of our infield situation. And that's, we're like I said, the infield situation, the team is very fluid. Changes are made here and there, and right now Sheng is in AAA for us. Little quick update on some of the prospects in AA. Brody Brecht, 5 starts here in Birmingham, and he has been really, really good. That is very encouraging to see. He might be a guy that we're looking at even next season to be a part of our big league staff here. You got Chase Hampton, who's having a good season in AA. He was the guy who came over from the Yankees, extreme fly ball, which we don't love. Tanner McDougal, now a fly ball pitcher. This is a new change. Doesn't show it here, but this was normal the last time we looked at this, or whatever, balance, whatever they call it. Now it's a fly ball pitcher. Don't love that. He does have some decent home runs allowed, but, we'll see. He might be in the big leagues at some point for us here, because he's definitely, ratings-wise, one of our better players. Grant Taylor, 15 starts. He's been solid in AA, with an 80 FIP minus. That's really solid. And then unfortunately for Vance Honeycutt, who was the 5th overall pick in 2024, he's just not doing anything offensively. He obviously is like a Gold Glove center fielder type potential. He might just come up and be like a Christian Pache type for us, because it's not like we have like a long-term commitment at center field anywhere. But Vance Honeycutt, just the bat has not been getting it done. We're hoping that maybe he can get some boosts here. We'll probably throw him in the dev lab, maybe try to get something here in the offseason. But, things aren't going super well with his career so far. But now let's actually jump into the 2026 first-year player draft here. We have the 19th overall pick after our decent season last year with 83 wins, I believe it was. Let's just check real quick. 83, how could I forget? 83 wins, 79 losses was our record last season. So we have the 19th overall pick. Number 1 is the Washington Nationals, who are going to take Brady Harris, a high schooler out of Florida, goes 1-1. Looks like he could be really good, obviously. We'll see if he actually develops. As we now move things on to pick number 19, where we are selecting, and our scout believes that we should take Eli Willits, who went first round in real life. First round. He went number 1 in real life, and in this, definitely looks like he could be interesting. 65 range, not a great arm though, so probably more of a second baseman than a shortstop. Decent speed profile. Looks like he could be a good hitter. More void K than BABIP though. 60 gap, 50 power, 55 I. Could be like a Brooks Lee type guy. If like this BABIP doesn't, I mean, he could be very Brooks Lee prone in this universe where he doesn't have a ton of pop. And isn't like a shortstop, but he's like a good second baseman. So maybe Eli Willits is our guy. Some of these 60s that are available, Jackson Matthews. I think if we're going to go high schooler, we're probably going to go Eli Willits. Braden Harris, high school pitcher. Is this the brother of the other guy who went number 1? It might be. Who knows? But I don't know if I love him, but we might take him. Jackson Matthews, don't love that bat, especially as a corner outfielder. CJ Sampson, I don't love his two-way capabilities. And I think if we're going to take a high school pitcher, it's going to be Braden Harris. If we ask for a pitcher recommendation, he gives us Braden Harris. So I think, yeah, we're down either between Braden Harris or Eli Willits. There's also somebody like Tyler Spangler who could develop into like a really, really elite power hitter. Lefty power hitter. Don't know if I love that, especially with his personality not being the greatest. So I think we're down to either Willits or Braden Harris. And like Braden Harris looks like he could be like a really good pitcher, whereas Willits looks like he's probably more of just like a really good second baseman who could just be Brooks Lee. So honestly, I think we're going to go Braden Harris. I think Braden Harris is going to be our guy. He is our number 1 pick here, 19th overall in 2026. Lock that in. Move things on round 2. Eli Willits is no longer there. The draft has already dropped down to not many people available here. Our scout thinks we should take Dax Hardcastle, great name, high school pitcher, who is committed to Air Force, apparently. High leader, adaptability, work ethic. Maybe we take him. I mean, we're already down to these 45s here, so, like, who are the best college guys available? This is a Rutgers guy. I'm seeing the name, Zach Konstantinovsky from Rutgers University. Go Scarlet Knights. Don't think we're going to take him here. Maybe we do, maybe we don't, but, I mean, I'm not loving him. I just saw that he had the holy trio here, and obviously I recognize the name because, I'm a sicko. I mean, I think if you're taking college guys here, you got to go with Cooper Clark because he's just the 50 potential guy. And his ratings, he doesn't have a great personality, but his ratings are just better than the other 2 starters who I think are the best available here in Parker Detmers, Reed Detmers' brother, out of the University of Louisville. And then you also have my guy, Zach Konstantinovsky, who honestly I'm tempted to get just because he's the Rutgers guy. And he's got much better personality. I mean, he's got high leader, adaptability, work ethic, and intelligence. So you think that would lend to him possibly developing better than Cooper Clark, who, like, ratings-wise, obviously looks like he could be better, but, like, not by a ton. So I think we're just going to go with our guy. We're going to go with the Rutgers guy. He's our second-round pick. Lock it in. And then look at this, Parker Detmers still here available, so we could go with him if we wanted. These are the best 45 college guys. We've looked through most of these guys. Nobody is really that great here. Like this Devin Sheeran guy from Mount St. Mary's is okay. He's about the same as Parker Detmers, like, level. They just have different stuff that they do things with. Will Gasparino is like the big name here, the giant guy from Texas. But don't love his ratings. Trent Caraway from Oregon State, big arm at third base, good personality class, but is he going to develop to be a decent hitter? Maybe, maybe not. And then if we take a look at the high school guys, there are some 50s still available here. There's Bo Peterson, who's a potential two-way guy, which I don't love the two-way guys. Connor Como, probably more of a second baseman, third baseman. Not really good enough to be a shortstop. The bat also isn't good enough to play those positions. Keaton Neal, impossible signee. Hunter Watson, looks like it could be good. Honestly, I'm down to either Brady Murrieta. That is intriguing. There's also Malachi Washington, who's a really good defensive center fielder. But I think we're leaning Brady Murrieta here as a potential, like, elite framing catcher with good personality, like leader, all the good personality stuff. And I was going to say Caraway and Hunter Watson, but I think it's got to be Murrieta. I don't think we can pass on this guy. I think we got to take him. He's our dude. We're locking this in round 3, hoping he can be our catcher someday. So we move things on to round 4. Watson's no longer here. Parker Detmer still is. This Devin Sheeran guy still is. Malachi Washington is still here. We might be preferring Malachi Washington. Brayfogle, why does it sound familiar? Arizona, that's why. And then for those of you that are not locked in to what the MLB draft looks like heading into this season in real life, Rock Chalowski here, probably going 1-1. In real life, this guy has turned into an absolute monster shortstop for UCLA. Probably going 1-1. Honestly, at this point, I'm tempted to go either Parker Detmers, maybe. It's either Parker Detmers or Dylan Moss. If we go back-to-back catchers, 60 framing, could have some decent pop. Don't love the gap power, so don't love that. Also, just anti-IMG Academy. Anyways, Cade Anderson from LSU. In this universe, not great. In real life, obviously, was a first-round pick. But Malachi Washington, I think, is the guy we're looking at here. 70 outfield range, elite speed profile. You know, we're hoping you can get some development here on the bat to make him a bit more intriguing. But Malachi Washington or Parker Detmers is really what I'm thinking. And I think or we could go with somebody like Matthew Sharman, high schooler. Or there's that Devin Sheeran guy from Mount St. Mary's. Oh, that's a high school. Oh, I guess that's Mount St. Mary's is a JUCO for baseball. Did not realize that. So Mount St. Mary's to LSU. Maybe we don't go Malachi Washington. Maybe we either go Sharman or Sheeran. So just on paper, I mean, Sharman's more intriguing to me. They have the same BABIP. They have the same movement and home runs allowed. A little bit better stuff for Sheeran, but then the control is 15 more for Matthew Sharman. He's younger, too. He's obviously a high school guy, so, like, the upside could be higher. But also, like, the floor isn't going to be as high as Devin Sheeran's floor. But I think we got to go Sharman, especially since he has the good personality class. I think he's got to be our guy here. So yeah, Matthew Sharman, righty, high schooler out of Woodstock, Georgia. Boom, lock that in round 4, move things on round 5. Parker Detmers finally has been taken. Devin Sheeran is still here, though. Malachi Washington also still here. So I think here we got to take Sheeran. Locking that in, move things on. Malachi Washington has been taken. This Dylan Moss guy is still here. I think we just got to lock it in. You know, get another catcher to catch our guys. He's a little bit younger than Murrieta is. Durable. Don't love the IMG, but he's a leader, high-framing catcher. Might as well take a shot. So Dylan Moss, he's our guy here, round 6. Alrighty, yeesh, that was a not good draft class. It really fell off there. We took Mr. Dylan Moss here, round 6, and then in round 7, Francesco Capocci, 7th rounder, University of North Carolina, University of Bill Belichick. High adaptability, high work ethic. Maybe he develops, maybe he doesn't. Round 8, we took Luke McNeely, a right-hander out of the University of Florida. High adaptability, high intelligence. And then in round 9, we took Nick Bradley, high adaptability from, I don't know, looked like he was decent, took a shot on him. Round 10, this is where we really just leaned into guys with good personality and good defense. High leader, holy trifecta here with adaptability, work ethic, and intelligence. Then in 11, guy is going to play some good defense in our minor league systems, help our guys develop, be good pieces for development purposes. Chase Brunson, who did develop in our Angels save, so maybe he develops in this, who knows, but at least a good defender in the outfield. Round 13, same sort of thing, high leader, holy trifecta, Dylan Schlegel out of Dallas Baptist. And then Peyton Bonds, we took him because he's Peyton Bonds. He's Barry Bonds' nephew in real life, goes to Rutgers. He transferred from Campbell to Rutgers. Don't know if he's still there. Not really sure, to be honest, but anyways. Aiden Camberg, really good personality class, not the greatest defender, but sure, whatever. Then in round 16, a guy with a sick-ass last name, incredibly good French last name. We're taking it. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it because I'm not good at French names. I can do you the Konstantinovsky, but I can't give you this guy. And then in round 17, another good personality class guy. Teen, whatever this guy's name is, Hampshire. Sure. And then in round 18, Braxton Beal, good personality across the board, high leader, helps our guys develop. Round 19, adaptability, intelligence out of Cal State Fullerton. And then in round 20, good infield range out of William and Mary. Sure, whatever. Basically from 10 onwards, it was just guys who were getting, for the entire possibility of them just being development pieces to help our guys develop by playing good defense, being good leaders, being good role models in our system, because that's just how this draft was. It was not very deep at all.